Don't run. It's okay. Scary face. Anyway, hey everyone, it's Squeakerwood HCG. Hope everyone's having a great night. Um, I usually try to go to bed by now. I've taken all my herbs and so but I wanted to come on and share with you just a little bit and say hello to everyone. I haven't had a chance to watch vlogs yet because it's just been a crazy day. I did, when I got up this morning, I did have a 0.6 release. So I am now at, I believe it's 15.4, and I think I'm on day 22. I had lunch today, and I had an awesome pan-seared tilapia and steamed spinach. I ordered it with no butter, of course, and nothing on it, but it was wonderful. I think it's always wonderful when someone else cooks it. And I went to my biofeedback little gal, and we had an interesting conversation. And she brought up releasing of things. We talked about how I'm going to say we, but whenever I say we, I'm meaning I. Whenever we hold on to emotions, whenever we try to be truthful with people, when we try to express our feelings, and people are not understanding where we're coming from, sometimes we feel guilty by being truthful. I'm not talking about blatantly just coming out hurting someone's feelings, but I'm talking about not intentionally hurting someone's feelings and feeling like we are responsible for other people's feelings. And I'll say, I've probably spent most of my life being responsible for everyone else's feelings, whether it be happiness or anger or sadness or whatever it may be. I've held myself responsible whenever it really was not mine to hold. So in all of this of releasing, besides releasing of fat, pounds, whatever you want to call it, also releasing things that do not belong to us, that we've taken responsibility for, that are not ours. So I thought that was an interesting conversation. It lasted a really long time, and she was having me say things, a couple of things like, I'm not personally responsible for other people's reactions and other people's feelings and all these different things. And it was so weird because I had a hard time saying it. I mean, you think it's easy to say things and then you can't. And I was telling my husband about it today, and he said, that's a bunch of hubbub stuff or something like that, just man things. And I'm just going to tell you, don't you like my Cruella Deville hair? That's what he calls it. Anyway, so a couple of days ago, he asked me, I was standing in the mirror getting ready to go somewhere, and he came up behind me after he had watched, now I have to say, he had watched my vlog about my stepmother standing behind me, making me stand in the mirror talking about how hideous I was. Well, he came up behind me, and he put his arms around me, and he said, say to yourself, I am beautiful. And he said, say, I'm pretty. And I just stood there looking at myself. I couldn't say it. And I started getting all teary, and I don't know what it did. And so today, whenever he was talking about, that's a bunch of hubbub, I reminded him about that. And you think maybe in our lives it's a bunch of hubbub, it's nothing. Whenever we've gone through things that we can't let go of, releasing. So today I had a hard time releasing the responsibility that I hold for other people's emotions. So anyway, I did that, and then I had lunch with my mother and my father-in-law, the sweetest little people ever. And they, so strange. They started asking about my past. They've met my mother and my dad, and they just love them to pieces. And but they were asking about my mother and how life was, and so I just thought I would share with you what we talked about. So they asked me what life was like, and I was telling them that, my parents were both, my mother was a drug dealer. She was the second largest drug dealer in the town that we lived in. So as you can imagine, coming home from school, there'd be people in your bed you'd never seen before. And I'll leave it at that. And my dad was an alcoholic. He was my stepdad, and he was violent whenever he was drinking. Well, my dad got a new job in a small town. I'm talking a town of 1,000 people. So we moved to this small town and took our trailer that we lived in. And I was starting my freshman year in high school, which was in 1980. When we first moved there, they connected our gas to our water and our water line to the gas line. However that works, I have no idea. But I do know what the result was. We did not have a heater, and we did not have hot water. So in the winter, ice formed on the inside of the windows. And so as you can imagine, it was really cold to get ready for school and to wash your hair and all of those things. Well, it was one night on December the 31st, and my dad wanted my mother to go to the little bar with him, and she said she wouldn't go. And he got really mad, and he told her, well, if you won't go, I'll find somebody that'll go. And she said, well, you got to do what you got to do. So he left. Well, Mom was really upset. And so she was in the house, and then she was gone. I didn't know where she went. I went outside of the house, and it was cold. And I found her squatting down beside the trailer, and she had a razor sharp buck knife, deer skinning thing or something. And she was sawing it back and forth across her arms, and she was crying, and she was praying, and she was crying, and I don't even know if she saw me. I ran back in the house trying to see my dad was there, anybody to help, and nobody was there. So I went back outside, and she was gone. And I'll tell you, it scared me so bad, because I didn't know if she had gone up on the mountain to cut her throat. I didn't know where she went. Well, when she came back, I'm not exactly sure what happened. I'm sure we talked. I don't know. But she went into her room, and she says that she was trying to fix the bed, and she picked up the sheet, and she threw it up in the air, and as it began to fall, she said a peace came over her that she had never had before. She said in the past she'd said the Lord's Prayer so many times she thought she wrote it. But this time she told God, you're going to have to either kill me or save me, but I can't live like this anymore. And she said whenever that sheet fell, that there was a peace that came over her that she'd never known before. And the Lord told her that my stepdad would never take another drink. He came home. Of course, he was drunk. And the next day, he had to go to work. And Mom didn't mention any of this to him. And the next day, he was driving, listened to somebody on the radio, and he gave his life to the Lord in a ditch and never took another drink. My mother was, after 12 and a half years of drug addiction, she was completely set free from the drugs. And I'll continue the story a little bit later, but I was dating my husband at the time. I mean, he wasn't my husband, he was my boyfriend, but it would be my husband. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that little piece with you guys. I hope someone gets something out of it, because for me, somebody said, how do you talk about this? How do you openly discuss this? One thing that I do know is that the past is not my future. This is what I feel like that the Lord has shown me, is that whenever you drive your car, you have a rear view mirror. The rear view mirror is to take a glimpse of what's behind you. But the windshield is much bigger than the rear view mirror. So whenever you live your life, if you try to drive your car focused on the rear view mirror, then you're going to run into everything. You're going to destroy everything in your path. So you take a glimpse of what was behind me, and you continue to drive forward, looking at what's ahead of you. And that's what we have to do every day with our emotional releases, our weight releases, everything that we do. We have to continuously look forward and not focus on what's behind us. Anyway, I hope you all have a great night. And tomorrow I'll have on some makeup. Might look a little bit better than I do right now. And the other thing is I have to get the information to you guys about the doctor that I went to, the alternative medicine. His website is drfitt.com. Everything that he gave me is on his website, but I will list those things or give you some more information tomorrow, which is Friday. Anyway, so I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope you all have great releases. Excuse me. I hope I have one tomorrow. Anyway, love you guys and see you later.